What's up, everyone? It's Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii's favorite YouTuber and the host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Mekel Kasanova Podcast. I'm back with another review video, which is for Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom. And I know, I should have had this review out back when the embargo lifted, back when it dropped for public. So that would be basically Tuesday or Monday, 9 p.m. my time in Hawaii. But the reason I didn't want to drop a review so early, there's a couple reasons. One, I was sick, plus I backed up with a lot of other things. I didn't want to be one of those people that just rushed out a video for a new game that's out because it's hot, it's the buzz, it's the thing that's going on. And you know, you can get a lot of clicks that way. I didn't want to do that. I actually want to spend and take some time with it, and given the fact that I did get the code later than other content creators, I've actually looked at it as a blessing in disguise. Initially, yes, I was annoyed. But at the same time, being sick, getting it late, also gave me more time to appreciate what this game was trying to do and being able to relay to you, the audience, if this game is Kasanova approved or if it's a pass. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this review of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom by FDG Entertainment. About a year and some change ago, Dot.Emu released a complete remake, graphically only, of Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap for various platforms that allowed you to play the game both in its graphically updated style or in the Sega Master System original. And while it was impressive being able to switch between the two aesthetics on the fly with the press of a button, it also didn't do much to fix the issues of the original when it comes to hitboxes and also the massive difficulty spikes, which means that if you didn't grow up playing the original or come from that era of games as being difficult just for the sake of increasing the longevity of the game, then you'd be hard pressed to stick with it for very long. Now, during the same time that Dot.Emu was in the works of releasing Wonder Boy, FDG Entertainment were also working on a new game that was inspired by Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, that was built from the ground up with a completely new engine and also a new art style that not only pays tribute to the original but also is very fitting for this original game. So is Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom a game that lives up to the legacy of the Wonder Boy series, or is it a reckless flop in the water that wasted 5 years in development? Let's find out. We'll start with the story of Monster Boy, which starts with Jin, the main protagonist, fishing when he sees a strange object flying in the background that heads towards him, and ultimately Jin gives chase and runs into his house to grab his sword and shield, and then takes off running into his little brother who has turned into a mini dragon. There's a dragon joke coming later, so do be ready for it when it comes. And then you take chase after your uncle who has been changing the villagers into various animals. That's about as much as I'm going to cover with the story, as it's something that I want you to go out and enjoy on your own, and while it's not going to win an award for the most original game story, it is still damn good enough to keep you motivated for your adventure. The graphics are lush and vibrant and really pop to life with so many awesome animations that make every character feel full of life, with small animations that you wouldn't expect to happen, such as when you attack an enemy, they go from their normal smiling faces to a noticeably angry facial animation, and then they start aggressively rushing you to attack, and they want to decimate you, they want revenge. Other unique animations are when you stand idle in any of your transformations or even your base form, and you'll see Jin do unique things, such as if he's in his pig form, he'll start switching his eye patch around, and then he'll notice that you're looking at him do this, and then panicking, he'll put it back on the default side, effectively breaking the fourth wall and also making light of an earlier in the game comment where he says this form only has one eye. Or even when he's in his frog form and stops his bopping animation to notice a fly flying around his head, and then Jin tracks it with his eyes and then ends up eating it. You know, honestly, there's just so much more to see with the animations that you'll just need to catch them as they appear. All in all, the devs did a phenomenal job with the lively art style and color balancing. So how's gameplay? The gameplay is simply amazing and incredibly responsive, especially when compared to last year's Wonder Boy title, this game honestly addresses all the issues that plague that title, from the difficulty to the hitboxes to the general not knowing where to go next, as this game, while very much an open world explorathon, still tells you where you should be heading next, but doesn't prevent you from exploring the world around you. The damage you take from enemies is relative to a few factors such as what level you are and the enemies, and also what your equipment set is and your set bonuses, if you are using a specific equipment set that will either have you experience the game on an easier time, or either you'll go through a more difficult time, give or take. Each item that you get and equip has different properties such as damage buffs, speed buffs, double jump, gliding, walking on water, luminous shine in dark areas, and more. So it's always fun to mix and match and see what you get. And the weapons also give you different stats, such as being able to freeze water and lava temporarily, or you can use your transformations special abilities such as the pig form, which gives you access to magic fireballs and tornadoes and lightning and boomerang and bombs. Yet the form makes for a very weak physical fighter unless you use the butt stomp. And while the frog form allows you to jump higher and effectively swim and swing across chasms with ease. There are so many more forms. The game cover art basically gives away all the forms that you'll be getting in this game, and innumerable weapons and items to equip, and not to mention all the hidden goodies and areas that you can find should you have the urge to explore. Oh, and before I forget, that dragon reference from earlier, yeah, well, you get a dragon form, and once your little brother sees you, he says that you guys to be called the Double Dragons. Yes, there is a reference to that legendary franchise. And honestly, FTG, would you please bring back that franchise? So what about the OST, you may ask? One word: glorious. Every area has a fitting theme that suits it, and the dungeons and field themes are all incredibly amazing that evokes a lot of memories of Castlevania, Mega Man, and of course, Wonder Boy. You'll hear a lot of the tracks from Dragon's Trap done in a much more grand level of composition than it ever was done in Dot.Emu's title, and I love the renditions here. So what are some of the downsides of this game, you ask? For me, honestly, there aren't any, but for many that I know that were also reviewing the game, they did feel like the volcano level was so brutal that it was a pace-breaking experience. And while I personally didn't find it to be too hard, I also acknowledge that it will divide many on how they feel about the spike in difficulty and challenge that the level presents, but honestly, I figured that you need to have some heads up on that. So how does the game rank up in my eyes? To me, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is most assuredly a must-buy, must-own game, and that needs to be in your collection. This was well worth the 5 years of development that it was in, and honestly, I haven't had many games that have had me hooked from start to finish in a very, very long time, with the exception of indie titles such as Big Kid Studios' Chasm and WayForward's The Mummy Demastered, which you also need to play. Even with AAA titles, I don't have that just nagging feeling or sensation that I need to play it, or that it itself can hold my interest. And as much as the originality of small studios and indie studios, and even with AAA titles, they don't really hold my interest as much as the originality of small studios and indie studios that just keep dragging me back in, and Monster Boy most assuredly does keep me invested with the gameplay and amazing graphics and moving orchestral score. Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom is Kasanova approved and is also in my top 10 games of 2018. Alright, and that wraps up the review of Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Again, shout out to FDG Games for supplying the review code so I can enjoy this game, which is I think is an instant classic for 40 bucks. The amount of content in it, the amount of references to other classic games like Double Dragon and more, the solid gameplay, the solid soundtrack, the solid art style. There's really nothing I can really complain about when it comes to this game, other than the fact that some may have some challenges at the volcano level. But with that being said, I mean, it's still worth it. It's a classic challenge, and if you're willing to rise to the challenge of the difficulty and the demand that the game has, then I think you will definitely enjoy it. And with that being said, you guys know, as I already said in the review, and I'll say it again here, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is Kasanova approved. You need to go out and buy this. This is, honestly, I know Smash Brothers is out. I know a lot of people are going to be praising that and playing that and talking about that, but honestly, do not sleep on this gem. This game is so phenomenal. And Smash isn't for everyone. I'm not a fan of Smash. I mean, I am, but I'll play it, but I'm not crazy about it. I can't spend hours on Smash like I would spend on something like this. This is something I think you guys would definitely enjoy. So, with that being said, why don't you guys tell me what you think down in the comment section below. If you have Monster Boy, if you like it and you want to have a discussion going on about why it's amazing or why even you don't like it, then definitely let's have that conversation down in the comment section below, as well as making sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the video. And with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.